RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, hello. Sorry I'm late. Damn it. My internet went out, so I was waiting for the internet to come back on. That's Spectrum for you. So, so annoying. I don't know. I need to get Fios or something. I don't know. Hello, everybody. This is Unapologetic Liberal Talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you want to hang out in the greatest chat room in American history, come on over to youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. And I'm just pointing at the screen because I'm getting a message from YouTube saying your stream is lower than normal. I mean, fucking unreal. I'm just... let's hope, the last 2 weeks in a row while we were doing the show, the stream cut out. So let's see what happens. We'll have to play it by ear. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, patrons at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. If you're a patron, I really appreciate it. And please, if you want a mug, send me an email at, the email's down in the description, actually. You can send me an email, and I will, because I need your address and all that. Your name, your address, say, I want a mug. I want a mug. It looks like this. The Tarabuster mug. All right. Awesome. It's coming in loud and clear. Says World Travel. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. All right. Where are we? Yeah. Jim says, thank you for your super chat, Jim. Right. As always, right out of the gate with the cover charge on the table. I didn't see the AOC video. Jim writes, interesting AOC video. And I meant to, now that you say that, I made a mental note to watch it, but I never did. I never got around to it. Let me see. She did an hour-long live stream. Am I wrong? On Instagram? And what did she say? Slams the effort to oust Biden. Yeah, okay, this is, I guess we can start here. AOC slams effort to oust Biden in lengthy live stream. I'm looking at the Rolling Stone article. Of course, I'm signed out. Unreal. Everything is slow. I don't know. It's fucking internet. So, let me see if I can open up another link. I hope nothing craps out. All right, I do thank you guys for bearing with the show. This is what it's like being a Tarabuster in the Tarabuster community, right? The long-suffering Tarabuster community. It really means a lot that you're sticking by. You're sticking by me. And the fact is, this is the liberal media. You're looking at it. I know. And we only have each other because we don't have big billionaire benefactors. And you know what? This whole thing that's going on with Biden, the Democratic firing squad, the circular firing squad, I mean, it's beyond belief at this point. More Democrats came out today attacking Biden. Now, I mean, you gotta wonder. We just came out of this Republican circle jerk Nuremberg rally that was a complete disaster, where the Republicans pretended that they're not what they are. They're not their policy. They want us to all believe that they're actually focused on the working class, that they're not the fascists who want to overthrow democracy. In fact, it's, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say to me bounces off and sticks to you. That's the Republican way. And even though they had the nerve to write it down because they realize what kind of corporate media they're dealing with. They realize that all they have to do is cry fake news or liberal media, and the liberal media, so called, will get in line, because that's the worst thing you can call these fake ass journalists or whatever they are, the pundits on corporate media. I guess the worst thing you can call them is liberal media or biased. You're biased. That's why they bend themselves into all kinds of inhuman contortions to come up with the both sides. On both, if I hear this, if I never hear the phrase on both sides have to tamp down the rhetoric. Really? Both sides. It's not both sides. If I never hear that term, both sides, again, it'll be too soon, for Christ's sakes. Both sides aren't spreading violence. Both sides aren't lying to the people they pretend to represent. Both sides aren't coming up with a completely fictitious platform to cover the actual agenda that they have in store for the United States, and that's a fascist dictatorship. But they can't say that. They can't come right out and say that in their Nuremberg rally, so they have to pretend they're all about unions and the working class, and finally the working man and woman's going to get their due, that the Republicans systemically for my entire lifetime, since Reagan urinated on our legs and told us it was trickling, that suddenly they're going to turn into the working class heroes that they have tried to destroy for my entire life, witnessing being aware, politically aware. I don't, just because you're, even if you're not politically aware, it still affects you. The Republicans have been very successful in robbing from the poor and the middle and giving it to the top. And they're not done. They see blood in the water. They see the finish line. It's always been about dragging us back to the system the founders overthrew. That's the end of the game there. They want to get rid of pesky democracy once and for all. And don't worry, we'll still be able to vote. We'll go through the pantomime of democracy. That's how it works in the modern day fake ad. I don't know. There's a name for it. I have to look it up. I can't remember what it's called. It's a relatively new phenomenon where autocrats they don't outright declare themselves to be dictators like Putin. They call themselves president, and they put on the facade of democracy. But it's a Potemkin village, really. You just like in Russia, they go vote, but lo and behold, Putin wins the election by a 90% margin. And this is what happens all over the world. They call President Xi. He's not a president. He's a dictator for life. That doesn't sound like a president to me, but no president that we're supposed to have in the land of the free, the home of the brave. So brave that we can't handle if somebody takes a gender studies class. That's how brave they are, right? So brave. They can't handle, anything different. It's very scary and frightening for people who are sick and trying to destroy this country. Yeah, so the day after this barrage of hate from the Trumpanzee convention, I mean, I'm sure you saw there's many incidences. Of course, the con man's speech, which was another... Please, it was what a pathetic... I didn't watch it live. I watched... because I couldn't take it. We were on the air here. We were having our show. So I just could not take it. It's enough to have to see the clips and share the same air with the con man. For Christ's sake. The same timeline. Mamma mia. But, so the day after this monster show... What happens? We get more Democrats coming out attacking Biden. It makes you wonder What the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with these Democrats? Saying he needs to step down. It really does make me wonder, because is it all this talk about taxing the rich that these big moneyed benefactors don't like? Because that's what they're the ones who are pulling away. They're withholding their legal bribes, their donations, quote unquote. It's not the little guy. It's the big, the rich, the fucking, hedge fund or whoever the fuck. What's that woman? We were talking about her on Robin Kincaid's show. They're gonna withhold their money, the donors. Hold on, we'll be right back. And apparently in this live stream, AOC mentioned that the Democrats calling for Biden to step down or step aside they're not saying they're worried about their voters. They're worried about their donors. That's what they're saying. And these donors apparently they have these representatives up against the wall saying, if you don't disown President Biden, we're not gonna give you our legal bribes. You won't get your bribes. Yeah, and this is what we talk about. Money in politics is the root of all evil. It's really disgusting that this is where we live, where these filthy, big-moneyed, assholes can dictate the future of the country. Just because why? Because some fucker was born with a trust fund? They get to tell everybody what to do? That's not supposed to be this thing. But the closer we get to having a functioning democracy, an actual one that works for everybody, we have all these big power, the power structure in all its forms stands in the way. And let me see. I'm trying to remember that bitch's name, because she put out a statement. One of these fuckers. I mean, they're all fucked up. I mean, they're all saying that it's an existential crisis. President Biden has been a consequential president. No one is disputing that. He's been great. He's done amazing things. He took us out of the pandemic. He's created more jobs than all other presidents in the last 60 years. He's brought manufacturing back. The United States is recovering from COVID faster than any other country. And on and on. We're manufacturing again, the jobs, the student loan forgiveness, which we'll get to, because once again, Republicans have shit in the punch bowl, as they do. Because whenever a normal person gets thrown a lifeline, the Republicans have to stand athwart history, yelling "Stop!" So let me see. Hold on. I have to find my friggin' Rolling Stone login. And this is another thing. While I'm logging into Rolling Stone, because I want to see this article that they wrote. Why can't I log in? Motherfucker. This is why when you become a patron, I gotta. It all goes to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Jeez. I gotta buy articles. I gotta buy fucking restreams. And, it costs money to have a freaking dinky podcast. A liberal media. Well, I shouldn't call it a dinky podcast. It's our podcast. Why can't I log in, though? It's really annoying. Son of a bitch. And everything is slow as shit because my internet sucks. Alright, let me find another article. Fucking annoying when you when you have a subscription to something and you can't log in. Doesn't that annoy you? Let's see. I wish I had seen that live stream, though. Like you're saying. I wanted to read what the fuck they were saying about it. But apparently she came out and said that the Democrats, they're trying to get rid of not just Biden, but the VP as well. So, here we go. Here's another one. Thank you, Ed. Okay, thank you for your super chat. Okay, I can do the cover charge at least, Ed says. Thank you. It means a lot. It does. I need a fucking producer, a real producer. Okay, so AOC, this is from the New York Times today. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Let me see. Hold on. Said the idea of having an open Democratic convention where the candidates would compete for the nomination was crazy. Yes, it is. It's absolutely crazy. And it makes me wonder. This is what I was thinking today. I don't know. Biden's talking about expanding Social Security, expanding Medicare, forgiving student loan debt, eliminating medical debt, and all these amazing progressive policies that I could only hope to be around and live for to see come to fruition in this country. And I just have to wonder, because then he says, how are we going to pay for it? By making the rich pay their fair share. He kind of sounds a lot like Bernie in a lot of ways. And I have to wonder, this concerted effort by the donor class, the so-called donor class, to push him out of the race, is this some kind of linchpin? Because what's the guarantee if they want to get rid of President Biden and VP Harris? What's the guarantee that the next Democratic, whoever that may be, would pick up the mantle of expanding Social Security, expanding Medicaid and Medicare? There is no guarantee. We might, for all the intents and purposes, get a fucking DLC Democrat in there. The kind that the donor class can stomach. Because they don't want their taxes raised. He's talking about, Biden goes out there and says they pay 8-point-something% in taxes. These privileged princes. And that's simply outrageous. It's not fair. Pay your fair fucking share. You want to live in a civilization, everybody pays their fair share. But no, not in, paying your fair share is a modern invention. I'm sure you know. One of the reasons, in fact, for the French Revolution is the rich didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay taxes, and they resisted it for a long ass time until it was too late. And the rich never paid. That was part of being part of the aristocracy. You didn't pay taxes. Taxes, as I think Imelda Marcos once said, taxes are for the little guy. And that's what they want. Still, they think that they're, I don't know, as FDR called them, the privileged princes of a new economic order who reach out to control government itself. So let's see. In the New York Times, Nicholas Fandos writes, Representative AOC of New York urged Democrats to reconsider their efforts to replace President Biden as their nominee, warning that members of her party were discounting the electoral strengths and hurtling ahead without a clear succession plan. Exactly. Was it not Imelda Marcos? Who was it, Ed? You tell me. Hold on. I hear the music. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of a chorus of angels. I hear the sound of victory, victory, victory. Okay, we're back. This is Unapologetic Liberal Talk. Thank you guys. Reading this article. That hotel lady. All right, just tell me. I don't know. I'm fucking reading an article here. Don't make me go fucking look at a link. God damn it! I'm doing a show. I can't go look at another link. What stream are you talking about? Oh, fucking! This show is going off the rails. Oh, here it is. You're talking about. That's the AOC stream. Thank you, Ed. I mean, Jim. Ed and Jim. You're all... I don't know. I'm getting everything mixed up. I'll never be president. Let's see. In a late night live stream on Instagram, AOC acknowledged that there were good faith arguments for Mr. Biden to leave the ticket, but she said the ongoing debate was being clouded by wealthy donors to a disturbing degree and being distorted by social media groupthink and anonymous leaks by her colleagues to the news media. People need to understand the reality and the gravity of what these people are proposing, she said. I'm not saying this is all a reason not to do it, but I do think people are talking about this without having two eyes wide open as to what this really means. She said bluntly, I have not seen an alternative scenario that I feel will not set us up for enormous peril. The hour-long monologue, recorded as pressure intensified for Mr. Biden to step aside as former Mr. Biden. Why are you calling him Mr. Biden? He's fucking President Biden. Mr. Biden to step aside as former President Donald Trump. Now, that would be President Biden to step aside for Mr. Trump. Can you believe this? Accepted the nomination, underscored the unlikely role that a 34-year-old congresswoman and her progressive allies have taken in turmoil. I can't talk. Once a Biden skeptic, she has emerged in recent years a staunch defender of the 81-year-old president. Yes, I have too. I think he's done a remark. Leona Helmsley, thank you. Thank you, Ed, and everybody on the chat. Taxes are for the little people. Okay. I'm sure she wasn't the only one, and she won't be. She was just the latest. Well, I'm sure there were many others who say and feel the same. Let's see. AOC did not directly share her views on Vice President Kamala Harris, or if she believed that Miss Harris stood a chance, or a better chance at defeating Trump. But she predicted that Democrats would only fracture further over who should replace Biden if he dropped out. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And this is the problem. You can't... I mean, you know what's annoying? Besides everything else? Is that the monster show, the parade of horribles, the basket of deplorables known as the RNC that we saw yet again, the shit show, the vomit fest, the lie hole, the creepy crawlies out from under the sewers, converging and to nominate America's Hitler as their Führer. That should be the focus of what Democrats are talking about. But instead, we get treated to yet another senator or representative getting their ass onto MSNBC. This is because as soon as they say, "Oh, Biden should step down," MSNBC gets them right on the air. All right, get them right on Katie Turshaw. She's ready. She's ready and willing with open arms. Come on, let's fuck this president over. Let's get this con man, traitor Trump, back in the Oval Office despite receiving fewer votes. I don't know why. I guess Katie Tur misses the mass graves, the injecting bleach, the rapes, the violent mobs. No, the mobs won't go anywhere. Trust me. Maybe she likes knowing that Nazis, that there's a so-called president who thinks Nazis are very fine people. She probably thinks that too. Something's wrong with that lady. She's got baggage. Something's wrong with her. We know her situation with her father, who is now a trans woman, and she doesn't speak to her because of that. That's a fucking weird, whatever. What a horrible person. All right, whatever. I can't pass. Well, I guess I will pass judgment. Not that I can't. I will. I don't know the full story, but come on. Anyway, yeah, the focus should be on the con man and his cult of Kotex wearing morons. The focus should be on that shit show, the lies. The fact that they had to fabricate an entire agenda because their true agenda is horrifying to the American people. The true agenda that they are pushing, that they wrote down in a 900-page tome, is so horrifying, is so unwanted by the American people, so rejected out of hand, that they won't even talk about it at their convention. They won't even talk about the fact that they sent women to back alleys to die. I thought that was Trader Trump was so proud to have terminated Roe v. Wade. Well, the abortion rate is up in the country. That's no surprise. We knew that would happen. Not only that, but women are dying, needlessly dying. More trauma. That's all Republicans do. I hope you have noticed this by far. This is what I've been pointing out. I'm sure you have. I'm talking to whoever, the maggots passing through. That Republicans don't bring anything to the table. They're not bringing decency, kindness, compassion. They're not promoting the general welfare. They're adding chaos. They're taking traumatic situations and making them worse. They're turning painful situations into traumatic situations that some people just can't recover from. Like the woman who had to travel out of state. There's so many women now. Some of them have come public. Kate Cox, who had to leave her state, who she possibly may not be able to have children thanks to what the filthy fascists did to her, injecting their disgusting agenda into a private business of a family. It's none of their fucking business. These freedom-loving Republicans. They love freedom, right? Abortion, the choice should be between a man, a woman, and local political leaders, right? That's what Dr. Oz said. Local political, a man, he said a woman, her doctor, and local committees or something. I gotta look that up. But so the point I'm trying to make here is that what the fuck, Democrats? Again, with the circular firing squad, the day after this horror show, the American people witnessed this effing horror show of lies. They saw this traitor Trump. He said, "Oh, he's changed. He's going to be toned down. Give me a break." And then we saw Katie Tur. We played the video yesterday of her gushing about how serene he looked. Please. He's pensive. I've never seen this look on his face before. Are you serious, lady? And at the day after that, that's what we should be talking about. Instead, the MSNBC gets them right on the air for them to bash Biden, to weaken Biden. You guys, it's 3 fucking weeks since this stinking rotten debate. I'm sick of it. And so we have to listen to Traitor Trump If this filthy goddamn corporate media was not in the tank for Trump already, right? If they put their focus, the way they focus up President Biden, up his ass, for Christ's sakes. We have to hear all they're wondering about his medical records. Is he hiding anything? Are you kidding me? We haven't seen the medical records from Trader Trump's ear that was scratched. If that, where's the medical records? I remember when Reagan had an operation on his colon or whatever, we had to have a play-by-play. Hold on. But there's different standards. And in fact, I was trying to find the clip because I think it was on Morning Joe today when I was watching it, but I wasn't able to find it, of someone that they had on. And Mika Brzezinski said, why don't you focus on Trump the way you focus on President Biden? You know, if President Biden said anything close to what Trump said at his that's whatever that was called, a speech, talking about the late great Hannibal Lecter and all the lies and everything else, the rambling, the China virus, the illegals. I left the world in peace. Bullshit. He left the world as divided as ever and worse. He's the poison of the blood in the American body politic. No one's poisoning the blood like he poisons the blood. Poisons the blood, poisons the soul, the mind, the everything. He poisons the American experience. But when Mika Brzezinski asked this guest, why don't you focus on Trump the way you focus on Biden? If Biden said, Biden mispronounced the name of his vice president running mate. And, not Biden, Trump, see? I guess I won't be president ever. Oh, well. Trump said the wrong name. And, he mistook the woman he raped for his wife. Right? But he said the wrong name. If Biden did that, said the wrong name, and we get it on clips. And we hear it. Then they play it again and again. They did it again today, playing clips of Biden saying somebody's name or something. But let's focus on Trump. You could do the same for him. He's worse. And not only that, he's a horrible narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath. So, who hates America, who hates democracy? They're a bunch of filthy liars. They never stop lying. If they were sincere, why don't they tout their Project 2025? Tell us what you're going to do. Tell us about the in 180 days how much damage you're going to do to the American system, to the government. How you're going to turn America into an autocracy. We see it right there, laid out in black and white in your blueprint, Project 2025. But why don't you talk about it? It wasn't mentioned at all in the Nuremberg rally, because they know the American people don't want it. The American people have never wanted what the Republicans have sold to them. It's all been a scam, from trickle down to everything else that they sell, saying tax cuts pay for themselves, the effing 401ks, or they did the whole 401k scam. That's Republicans changing the American experience, from the great prosperity to, oh, well, sucks to be you. You better hope you retire when the market's on an upswing. or that you didn't get wiped out in some crash caused by the banksters. And you better hope that while you're living paycheck to paycheck like over 50% of the American people, and you could squirrel something away in your 401k, you better hope it lasts till you croak. Because, as far as we've seen, the first 401k generation is retiring and has retired. This is the first recently. The first 401k generations are retiring, and it's not pretty. It's not a pretty sight. But it was part of how Republicans reshaped the thinking of the American people, just that most people had pensions for the rest of their lives. You would get a pension. You worked at a job, you get a pension. And that would last you until you croaked. And it would go to your spouse if they survived you. And that's the Republicans saw big fat money that could be funneled into their greedy, rapacious gullets of their benefactors. And they were like, oh no. They want to put everybody in the market, because besides being whatever you are, you got to do your own job, but then you got to be like a fucking financial whiz too. You got to be a day trader and and look at the prospectus and all this other shit. But yeah, they fucked us over. This is what happens when they're not looking out for the best interests of the American people. They're looking out for. They're just making people into suckers and dupes. You're nothing but a host from which these parasites suck profit and discard. That's it. But the fact that we're not talking, when we will talk about the Republican Nuremberg rally, but that's not the focus. All day I had to hear breaking news. Another dumb bastard comes forward. Another Democrat tells Biden to step aside. Look at this shit. Here we go. It's once again on the cover of the Huffington Post. Another senator jumps. Reps run for the exit. Biden says he'll keep campaigning. Family discussing exit plan. Latest updates. That's the cover on the Huffington Post. And then underneath, GOP convention collapse. Trump's speech off the rails. Yes, but we need to focus on Democrats in disarray, right? Dems in disarray. Shut the fuck up with these Democrats. And it makes you wonder which side. I don't know how. It was really annoying because I had a call every time one of these fuckers came out today with saying, but President Biden, he's been great, he's been consequential, he will go down in history as the best, but we for the good of the country, you have to step aside for what? Step aside for what? For the void? For nothing? For nobody? For no one? Because they're not saying VP Harris. They're like, oh, we don't even know if she can win. I mean, I can't even believe we're talking about this. These fucking monsters are doing it to us again. It's such a consequential election. It's such... The stakes are so high. Well, for somebody who's diminished and so bumbling, he's certainly got a lot of shit done. So why... And then they were playing on MSNBC just right before I started the show. Ezra Klein was on with Ari Melber on MSNBC, and he's saying they were playing clips of President Biden, like going, fumbling. You could do that to anybody. You could do that to me, fumbling on words and whatnot. And they strung it together, and they cut back to the two of them, and Ezra Khan's like, it's so painful. I can't watch. It's so painful to watch. Well, maybe not. Don't splice it all together like that to make it look worse than it actually is. Yeah, he had a shitty debate. We need somebody who. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Do I think I would love for President Biden to be more articulate. He's never been that, though. He's never been the great orator. He's always been somebody rambling about corn pop, right? Corn pop is a very bad dude. Remember that? And that there, he's old. Okay. Whatever. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of having to talk about it. I'm sick of if I don't understand how I know more how to shut the fuck up when it's needed than these Democrats do. Terry on the chat says, "What is happening, Tara? I feel so betrayed." Yes, I feel the same. But it is a psyop with the Democrats, or are they really stabbing him in the back? I don't know. I have to wonder. What I do ponder that, and with AOC saying what she's saying, that these Democrats are talking about the donors. They're worried about the donors. The donors are the ones telling them, the donor class, that all functioning democracies have, a donor class, right? Unbelievable. Right, hold on. I mean, think about the bullshit of this, the American dream, right? Where anyone can be president. No one's above the law. Everyone can, you too can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and become president, or you could be anything you want here in America. But but a donor class? What kind of system? If that's the system that's not supposed to have a donor class. We're talking about people who were born in on third base, thinking they hit a triple. Why is there a donor class? We never had one until this thing was supposed to be the antidote to that, to a donor class. The grand experiment. The founders understood the danger of concentrated wealth. Thomas Jefferson talked about how do we limit the power of, I think, what did he call it? Well, Teddy Roosevelt called it the bloated fortune, but they understood. They weren't idiots. That's the thing about, the Republicans too. They worship the founders. They have this whole fictionalized myth about them that they were Judeo-Christian, and they were divinely inspired, made this Judeo-Christian bullshit. No, it was from the liberal age of enlightenment, but they weren't idiots. These were well-read and intellectual people. They weren't the uber wealthy. They weren't people who were just given their fortunes by inheriting it. They were, in fact, many of those who signed the Declaration of Independence died broke because of standing up. Right? And that's the truth. So, donor class, fuck off with this donor class. Incredible, though. But it makes me wonder, like you're saying, Terry, I wonder, is this, what the fuck? It's like, are you that stupid? Democrats? Something is, I don't know, something is going on here, more here than meets the eye, it seems. Right, they had slaves, which helped. Exactly, Ed. True. True that. True that. Very true. So let's see. Where was I with this article? Okay. If you think there's a consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave that they will support Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken, she said. And she called the idea of an open convention allowing multiple candidates to compete for the nomination crazy. Long known for pushing her party leftward. What is that, leftward? On ideological questions, Miss Ocasio-Cortez rooted her remarks in what she called brass tacks concerns. She said she had seen a lack of thought by party leaders around how to confront legal challenges associated with replacing the nominee. There's that too. There's that too. She vented that her colleagues in Congress were caving to pressure from donors. She also made the case directly for Mr. Biden. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez said that other Democrats underestimate Mr. Biden's continued political strength, particularly with labor unions and older Americans. While she did not directly contest polling that showed him behind, she called herself a polling skeptic. I'll count myself among those as well, and question whether Mr. Biden's numbers were being temporarily affected by Democrats' own infighting. Whether you like it or not, she said, Joe Biden kind of stomps with older people electorally. Is that the end? Oh, yeah, that's the end of the article? What a weird way to place to end it. Yeah, let's see. This is from the New Republic article. My community does not have the option to lose, AOC said. If they're going to come out and say all their little things on background, off record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms. I see what they say in conversations. A lot of them are not interested in removing... Oh, wait, hold on. A lot of them are just not interested in removing the president. They're interested in removing the whole ticket. As far as a plan for replacing Biden, I have stood up in rooms with all these people and I've said, game out your actual plan for me. What are the risks of this going to the Supreme Court? And no one has an answer. I'm talking about the lawyers. I'm talking about the legislators. A lot of them, wait. She noted that the convention is less than a month away and that Michigan has to finalize their ballot in two days after the convention, which could result in a legal crisis. AOC said she was concerned that these factors aren't being considered by the Democrats in the replacement camp. Recent reports say Biden dropping out of the race is increasingly likely and could happen in a matter of days. Motherfuckers. The president appears to be strongly considering the idea after meeting with Democratic leaders in the House and Senate, and reportedly, even former President Barack Obama thinks Biden needs to reconsider running. A major West Coast donor has already drafted a withdrawal speech. Who? In a push to change Biden's mind, donor writes his withdrawal speech. Who the fuck are these donors? What donor? Fuck you. A top West Coast Democratic donor has reportedly drafted and begun circulating a 7-step swan song for the president. The victory speech, which was obtained by the Daily Beast, contains 7 bullet points for Biden to use should he decide to withdraw from the race. The main points of the speech emphasize the importance of saving America and democracy and insist that to do that, Democrats must win. But for that to happen, Democrats need to reclaim the confidence of the American people. The speech would maintain Biden's position that he thinks he could still succeed in beating Trump in November, but concede that Americans desire a candidate who is younger than Biden. Or, I mean, like, what is this shit? I want a pony? Kind of fucking electoral process? I need a new shiny new penny. I want a nice new thing here. Well, we got the old thing. That's what we got at the moment. Why are you fucking it up? You're fucking it up. Shut up. Well, you said you would step outside. You would be a bridge. Well, that's fine. You said a lot of things, you know. I also said Corn Pop was a very bad dude. I also said back in the day that, you know, so we had to do something about Social Security, and now I'm trying to do something about it. Expand it. Unbelievable. I mean, what? It makes me wonder. It really does. Because what the fuck? If you don't know how to shut your mouth in front of the world and take this conversation offline, then I don't know what hope do we have with these assholes. I mean, yeah, the thing that is baffling, they're like, Biden should be beating Trump. We heard this before in the midterms. I wish I could go back in time. I should look it up, where we could watch the media on right before the midterm elections and their polls. We could pull up some clips of what's his name, Kornacki or whatever, with his polls, and talking about how the Democrats were going to get wiped. The floor was going to be wiped with the Democrats. It's going to be a red wave, and we had to endure this. And then the next day, sometimes I can't handle it. I shut the TV off. I turned it back on in the morning. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know. I don't know about these polls. That's the thing. And Jim on the chat says Biden was running ahead of Trump at this time in 2020. But I hear you, except that it's not that I'm like opposed to anybody else. I will vote for Spooky the guinea pig if he has a D after his name and is running for president. It doesn't matter who is going to whatever. Vote blue no matter who. That's what I think. Hold on. But the Democrats have been so disunified. Is that a word? Or in disarray. I'm loath to say Democrats in disarray. But all of this infighting and attacking the president and saying, I think he's old. I don't think he's diminished. He's not the same. He's not the same guy. He's definitely whatever. Is doing damage. It's doing goddamn damage. And the fact is, no matter what, every time he sits in front of a camera now, President Biden, if he goes, well, anyway, he does that all the time. It really annoyed me. And it's annoyed me for a long time. Even if you look back at the debates from the 2016, when they were all running, one of the things he does that all the time, where he would stop in the middle of a sentence and say, well, anyway, I don't want to get into it or whatever. He did that then, and I remember it because it just irritated me. It's like, fucking finish your sentence. You're going in, to make your point, and he would stop. It was like he was pulling his punches. But that's nothing new. And now when he does it, people are like, oh, he's lost his train of thought. He's diminished. He's him. This is the way he's been. He's a little slower. His voice is raspier. I have no whatever. no problem voting for anybody else. It's not like I'm like Biden or bust, but it just seems impractical at this time, 4 months before the election, to change the candidate who's got the delegates, who is on track to be the nominee, who has the campaign finance war chest, who has the operations built up in all these states, and not take into consideration there's nobody. If they're saying it's not, if they want to have a fucking jungle primary, they want to have this snap primary, let's have, I mean, all these ridiculous ideas, it's not helping. It's chaos. It seems like chaos. And then they say how, oh, the Democrats are in disarray, but the Republicans are so united around traitor Trump, when the fact is they're not united either. They have simply purged all the actual Republicans out of their party. They've purged all the Republicans who aren't traitors out of their party. So they're in disarray too, except they're unified around the dear leader. And all this does is hurt our chances of maintaining a functioning democratic republic and stopping fascism. And people are, they're saying this is why we want him to leave, but it seems self-defeating to turn your fire against your own standard bearer because he had a bad debate. And even if he's diminished, we want somebody who can prosecute the case against Trump. All you got to do, because they're like, oh, they're hiding him. He's not coming, he's not doing public appearances or whatever the fuck. Then Democrats need to get out there and carry the message. They need to stay on side. It doesn't seem too hard to me to see how damaging this is. I don't understand how they don't see it. That if he needs a nap during the day, I don't fucking care. Because if this is what we get when he's diminished, more of that, please. Okay? And he's promising now, talking about taking care of the court, addressing the disgusting, dishonorable Supreme Court, ethics, putting on an enforceable code of ethics, and trying to ensure, what's the other one? He's not talking about expanding the court. He's talking about term limits. And I don't know. That seems like a good idea. And to just dismiss that and all. The thing is, we understand that we're not just voting for him. We're voting, he's not the king. We're voting for the entire administration of people who know what they're doing, and we're voting for the platform. Whereas I know that the Republicans, they're voting for their dear leader, to kiss the ass of the con man. But it was infuriating just to watch the media today, the corporate media, and have Democrats one after the other. Breaking news, another Dem breaks with the effing, with Biden and says Biden, whatever. This is not the conversation we should be having. It was never the conversation we should be having. And I find it really infuriating when they're out there saying, he's been a great president, he's been consequential. This could have already been in our rear view mirror. You understand? It's 3 weeks. 3 weeks of this shit show. And we could have already had this behind us if the Democrats remained unified and just stood by their candidate. Yes, he had a bad debate, but Donald Trump has a bad everything. He has a bad day. He has a bad life. He's a bad president. He's unfit. He was a bad businessman. He's a bad father. He's a bad husband. He's a bad person. He's unfit. That's the message. Then they're like, this decent man, he's done so well, been so consequential and all this. Then shut up. And when we win the election, we have a backup plan. It's called Kamala Harris. And, oh, God. It's not, we're not voting. All right. We're not voting for a king. At least Democrats aren't. I don't know. It seems very obvious to me. And the fact is, if he has to it has to be. You would think that if they're pushing him to leave the race, they would have a plan. But they don't. We heard their plans. It's James Carville's rantings and ramblings about, well, this is the plan. We get Obama and Clinton to get together. Come on. And then we do it at the DNC. Like, it's like, so you think you can dance or something, right? So you think you can president. Sickening. And I don't blame Biden for being outraged. He's not diminished. He's not. If you saw him, so what? He stumbles over a word, but it doesn't matter. They'll point that microscope right up his ass, unlike Traitor Trump, who gets away with everything. These assholes were calling him, saying that he was unifying. He's going to unify the country because his brush with death really made him reevaluate things. Oh, hold on. We'll play how he's reevaluated in a second. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out on Unapologetic Liberal Talk. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Come hang out with us on Friday nights in the greatest chat room in American history with the greatest patriots in American history, like Jim and Ed and Pookie's mommy and Haiku and Stephanie and Terry Taylor and Cha-Cha and Larry and who else is here? Ed the Second, Twisted Nerves Painting, of course. How can I forget? Who also has a show? World Traveler. All these amazing people. Who else is here? Did I miss you? All right. Where was I? Where am I? Who am I? There's so many things I want to talk about. Here, let's, this is what's sickening, right? While they go up Biden's ass with a microscope every time he stumbles over a word, let's see what Traitor Donald Trump was saying at his speech. They were talking about he's really changed, because his brush with death showed him he needs to be a unifier. Like, he's going to unify him, that guy. The one, the China virus guy, the Muslim ban, the mass deportation guy. The one who, you can unify around fascism. Like freedom. You're free to be as free in the constraints that they designed for you. And if you go outside that, they got something for you, and it ain't it ain't a lollipop. It's not a pat on the back. But here's Traitor Trump. This is what I found. All right, let me just play it. I found this very irritating. Why is
8 years.
Wait, hold on. What the hell? It's weird. Why isn't it playing?
That party.
See, listen.
The Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labor.
Okay, you heard that, of course. The Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system. Weaponizing the justice system for, maybe stop committing crimes. Nice to see you, Suzanne and Ryan. Is Ryan a troll? I don't know. Nice to see you. All right. I'm looking only because I see. Oh, that's funny. Ryan says, Tara, you pass so well for a trans woman. Well, bye, Ryan. Aren't you? And you pass so not well for human. Bye, trader. Bye-bye. Aren't they amazing? See, they have nothing, but, I mean, he thinks he's being insulting, I guess. I don't know. Bye. But this is what they are, Just losers. And they know it. So, yeah. I pass for a trans woman. Ha! Wait, where is my... See, that's... I'm supposed to be outraged and insulted by that. What a loser. What a loser Ryan is, right? Bye, Ryan. All right. Here's, speaking of losers, here's Trader Trump.
Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent.
The Democrat Party, right? See, no one in the corporate media, this is what really annoyed me, was that no one in the Democrat, in the Democrat Party, in the corporate media said anything. They never say anything about the fact that these traitors, that Trader Trump and the maggots, can't even say the name for the party, right? They can't even say the actual name of the Democratic Party. And without a hint of irony, they talk about how Trump's going to set a new tone. But they had the speech. Now, I know that Trader Trump went off on his tangents, but they had a copy of the speech. And I'd like to, actually, now that I'm saying, I wish I had downloaded it or searched it to see, did they have Democrat Party written in there? Because if you're trying to set a new tone, you really learned from your near-death experience. You've become, finally, after all these years, 78 useless, wasted, succubus, parasitic, disgusting, filthy years on the planet, doing nothing, adding nothing but pain and misery to the world, and you changed because some registered Republican took a shot at you with an assault weapon that Republican policies made possible for him to have, right? And no crack corporate media journalists mentioned the fact that what full of shit he is. And their whole unity message and how Trump has changed. He's really human now. He's human. See, can't you tell by the fact that we haven't seen the medical records of that stupid Kotex why he needs a Kotex on the side of his head? Let's see. What about the medical records? Oh, I guess we'll get a letter. He's got the greatest ear that anyone of any president, and the healthiest ear. If he didn't have such amazing genes and cartilage, his ear would have been completely decimated off the side of his head. But thankfully, he's as healthy as a horse. He's the healthiest man who's ever sought the presidency. This was the medical report that we were treated to last time that he was supposed to release his medical report. We got a couple of paragraphs that he dictated to some quack. And okay, I just find it absolutely infuriating that that the corporate media, and this is why they're useless, they just allow this fucking grifter, this fucking con man, to not even say the name of the Democratic Party and go on with this. Will he change? His tone has changed. They're focused on unifying. They're a unifying tone. Absolutely incredible. I don't know. This to me seems like the low-hanging fruit that speaks volumes about who the fuck they are. When you want to have an actual unifying experience with the political parties, start by saying the name of the party. Wouldn't that be the basics that you would tell a child? A child would know that. You know, you don't call. How many times you got to call somebody outside their name until they stand up for themselves? That's what annoys me about the Democrats too, because they just never fucking say anything. That seems like learned helplessness. It's like, okay, yeah, call me whatever. Call me whatever.
As an enemy of democracy. If Democrats want to unify, stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy. If Democrats want to unify our country, they should drop
You should stop labeling your political opponent as an enemy of democracy. This is what he's saying. Oh, he's been so unfairly treated when everybody calls him an enemy of democracy. But, you know, it's not like we pulled it out of our asses. We have eyes. We see the antics. We see the way he treats dictators in comparison to how he treats the other democratic countries, the leaders of democratic countries. We see what he says about NATO. This dullard who doesn't know fuck all about anything, has no concept of history. He has no concept of what NATO is about. He thinks NATO is a protection racket that countries pay the United States to be their muscle. Well, I guess he wants to be a bag man, right? He wants all that good money. Well, he wants to be the crime boss. Unbelievable. Hold on a second, guys. Unapologetic liberal talk. Become a patron. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin. All right. So, yes, here's some more.
Partisan witch hunts, which I've been going through for approximately 8 years.
Fuck you. I can't, right? Oh, they call their political opponent a threat to democracy. What you talking about a Democrat party calling you a threat to democracy? What's a Democrat party? This Democrat Party witch hunt must end because I'm trying to seek unity with the Democrat Party. If only. Yeah, let's start by saying the name. I mean, I don't know. He's just full of shit. I can't. I'm sorry. We won't play the whole thing because I want to keep my dinner down. And he's just a liar. Everything about him. And in fact, let's see. I had the CNN guy who did the fact check of all Trader Trump's lies.
Our CNN fact checker, senior reporter Daniel Dale. Daniel, you've listened to quite a few Trump speeches, and I know that the challenge of being a fact checker in this modern era, especially of President Trump, is one, he says so many things that are not accurate within a short period of time. But two, it's quite frequently you say the same lies or misstatements over and over and over. How did tonight's speech match up?
It was a remarkably long acceptance speech, Jake, and a remarkably dishonest acceptance speech. I counted at least 22 false claims from Donald Trump on first listen. Let's start with one of the wildest claims he made. Listen to what he said about the state of the world when he was president.
The world was at peace. Our opponents inherited a world at peace and turned it into a planet of war. We're in a planet of war. The whole world was at peace, and now the world is blowing up around us.
It's like a
This
planet
is
of the
false.
apes.
Trump did not achieve world peace when he was president, certainly wasn't at peace when he left office. There were active wars or armed conflicts in dozens of nations in 2020, 51 by one research institution's count, and then 51 again in 2021. Trump handed President Biden ongoing civil wars in Yemen and Syria, of course, an unresolved Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Israeli-Iranian conflict, a war in Ethiopia. I could go on for a while, but I don't have time because there were so many other false claims. So let's address some of those, not even all of them. He repeated his usual lie about Democrats having cheated in the 2020 election. It's nonsense. He said crime is going up. The opposite is true. It's gone sharply down in 2023 and early 2024, is now lower than it was under Trump in 2020. He said we have the worst inflation we've ever had. Again, not even close. It is 3% right now. The U.S. record is 23.7%. He said there was no inflation under him. It was low, of course, but not non-existent. It was 8% total for his presidency, 1.4% year over year in the month he left office. He said the price of groceries is up 57% under Biden. It's actually 21%. He said Democrats are proposing to quadruple people's taxes. That is imaginary. He said his tax cut was the largest in American history, not even close again. He said the Biden administration does nothing to stop migrants. Well, the administration tried to get Congress to pass a bill to tighten the border, and after Trump himself helped to kill that bill, Biden took executive action to tighten the border. Trump said he stopped human trafficking. Again, not true. He said China stopped buying oil from Iran under him. Also did not happen. He said foreign governments are deliberately sending criminals and mental health patients to the U.S. as migrants. His own campaign has been unable to provide proof for that. I certainly haven't found any myself. He said we defeated ISIS, 100% of ISIS, in a couple of months. In fact, the ISIS caliphate was declared fully liberated more than 2 years into his presidency. And there were other exaggerations about trade with China, about North Korean missile launches, about gas prices, about IRS agents. So it just went on and on and on in terms of falsehood, just like the speech went on and on and on itself. Jake?
All right, Daniel Dale, thanks so much. And you can read more of CNN's fact checks at cnn.com/facts. First, quite a lot for Mr. Dale.
What are you gonna do? It's an old man who stutters over his words sometimes and walks a little slow. He's unfit, according to every corporate media mouthpiece, because even though he's done such a consequential job, but the guy who never tells the truth. I mean, we should really start measuring the true things he says, because the lies are simply out of control. There's too many to keep up with. That guy would have been better off if he had noted anything true Trader Trump said. They're just, and you know what's going to happen in the election. And of course, I still think Biden can win and will win because of what a disaster Trader Trump is. And I do think that the American people are sick of him, because it's already baked in. The people who like Trump or whatever, these Trumpanzees, there's no getting through to them. They're a lost cause. But as far as these independents or whatever they are, the low information voters, the double haters, the persuadables, no one, they're not looking at Trump. They don't see this asshole and say, oh yeah, I remember when, more of that, please. People were disgusted with him. They're sick of him. Aren't you sick of him? The whole world is sick of him. He needs to go away. Legally and peacefully. I hope he goes away to jail, but all right. And speaking of, this corporate media is just a shit show. And the other day we were talking about Katie Tur. She's really something. And where the fuck is it? Yeah, so this is Katie Tur today.
I have some breaking news, Brian, that I want to get to regarding President Biden, and this is a statement that's just out, coming over the Reuters wires for us. Biden says he looks forward to getting back on the campaign trail next week, and he says Donald Trump's dark vision is not who we are as Americans. It's not much of a statement, but it is notable because, again, there are increasing calls.
Shut the fuck up. You hear this lady? It's not much of a statement. Well, what's he supposed to say? You're not much of a reporter, Katie. It's not much of a statement. What? I don't understand. What is much of a statement? What would qualify as much of a statement? Would it be calling somebody a fat pig? Or, right? Misgendering somebody? I guess she would enjoy that because she's got issues. It's not much of a statement. We do know that apparently, I think Michael Cohen, when he testified, when he was working for Trader Trump, they said that if they wanted to plant good stories, they would call up Katie Tur. Good stories about Trader Trump. They wanted her to repeat, the bullshit. But I just found that outrageous. What's not much of a statement? But she's always got to knock Biden. She never misses the opportunity to say something passive aggressive and underhanded. Yeah, that's your corporate media. This is the same woman here we go. We were talking about this last night.
And there are questions about what really is going to change with Donald Trump, and there's also quite a bit of skepticism out there because there have been so many moments before where people have said he'd make a pivot, like he'd walk into the Oval Office and the weight of the office, the weight of the presidency would hit him. He'd sit at the Resolute desk and he'd realize that he had to be more of a uniter and a divider. Maybe he'd start with infrastructure instead of starting with a more divisive policy on immigration. There are all these conversations that we've had so many times in the past. Is this really going to be different? I don't know. But I will tell you, even just looking at his face in this video that we're seeing right now, I've never seen Donald Trump with a look like that in his face. Not once. In the very long time that I've been covering him, I've never seen that look.
It looks almost pensive, Katie.
Unbelievable.
Serene.
I
have some breaking news, Brian, that I want to get to regarding back on the campaign trail next week. Biden says he looks forward to getting back on the campaign trail next week. And he says Donald Trump's dark vision is not who we are as Americans. It's not much of a statement, but it is notable because, again, there are...
Am I losing my mind here? Because that is it's such a underhanded snipe at somebody as she's sitting there pretending to be... this so-called journalist. Let me show you an actual journalist. Oh man, are you kidding me? Well, come on over to youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster on Progressive Voices, because we're gonna play some clips now, and it's gonna be fun of Katie, not Katie Tur, of what's her name, Kari Lake getting owned by a British reporter. An actual reporter. All right, guys, become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. We will win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. Thank you for hanging out tonight. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. I can't believe how fast that went. I looked at the time earlier, and then I said to myself, I got to get to that other clip before we lose Progressive Voices. And then it was, I blinked, and it was the music. All right, so let's play. I feel bad that I didn't play this clip before we lost our Progressive Voices audience, but here, you might have seen this. It kind of made the rounds a couple of days ago, but it made me kind of weep for the country, the corporate media that we have to endure. This is Emily Maitlis, who was I guess. What's that? She was portrayed by Gillian Anderson in the Netflix series about the interview of Prince, what's his face? Prince Andrew. And yeah, so she's kind of well known. And but here she is talking with Kari Lake about, confronting her on her lies.
I actually think you need your head examined. Can you answer that? I actually think you need your head examined. Can you answer that? I think you need. I actually think you need your head examined.
Sorry, guys.
Can you answer that? I think you need your head examined.
Donald Trump has talked, Mr. Trump's talked about the need for a new tone in politics, a civility in politics, a kind of unity. What does that mean to you?
I actually think the tone has always been good. I believe that what we're trying to push is a strong economy, secure borders. These are
Let's push everybody gets a pony, rainbows and rainbow sprinkles. No dark sprinkles. We don't like anything dark, just rainbow. Well, no, actually no rainbow, only white sprinkles. White sprinkles, they're just as delicious as the rainbow. Probably, better because they're white. And he's always been a unifier. I always felt very unified when he was calling the people he assaulted fat pigs and horse faces. I always found that to be incredibly unifying. He's always been someone who's he's gotten a bad rap for the corporate media, the liars, the fake news media lies about him when he's calling people horse faces and fat pigs. He's doing it because he loves America. He's doing it for the good of the country. He's good doing it. I mean, maybe they need to lose a couple of pounds. He's giving them some incentive. I don't know about the horse face, but what they can do about the horse face. But he's that's who he is. He tells it like it is. He tells it like it is. That's why we heard that he's 100 and what is he? 6'2", 215 pounds. Yeah, he tells it so like it is, doesn't he? He tells it like it is so much that he lies. Like when he tells it like it is when he said that he left the world in peace, and now he's taking credit for the jobs. You realize that every job that Biden created, which is well and beyond anywhere near the loser known as Traitor Trump, Herbert Hoover of the 21st century. He's taking credit for Biden's jobs. He's saying, the jobs I created. You haven't been anywhere, you haven't stunk up the freaking Oval Office in over 3 years, asshole. We're lucky we got the jobs back in spite of you, because he left office with a negative. The jobs in the tank. And it wasn't all COVID. I know he likes to, the party of personal responsibility. Don't like to take responsibility, but we've shown the charts before. Even when you don't factor in COVID, you take COVID out of the equation, Biden has trounced Traitor Trump's jobs record. Traitor Trump had the worst jobs record of any modern president. Worst. That's just math. But that's, I don't care. They say he tells it like it is. He's not telling it like it is. He's telling it like he wants the dupes to believe it is. And I have to wonder how much you have to hate yourself to continuously believe the lies of a documented, lifelong con man. It's disgusting. Is hate that intoxicating for these people? As long as they hate the same groups of people, these average Joe Republicans will slit their own throats at their command, at the command of the con man. It's incredible. And we talked about it on the show last night, how these filthy Republicans, they vote for these right-wingers, they send them to the halls of power to so-called represent them, to represent the people, and they do fuck all for the people. They don't do a single thing for the people they pretend to represent. They wouldn't pull a hair for their constituents. And they do nothing for them except gender, end gender affirming care, or tell people what to read, all kinds of virtue signaling. Make sure, no pride flags over here, or some bullshit. Some divisive bullshit. Ending DEI. Because you can't learn. Don't want anybody to learn or see things through the eyes of others. Only through the eyes of a white man, and preferably Jesus, who is white. I swears it was white. My Savior is white. The Savior I pretend to worship, I guess, right? Or they pretend to worship. But they send these fellow racists to the halls of power so they could do nothing for the constituents. And everything falls, you want to talk about in disarray? Everything crumbles. Everything Republicans touch turns to shit because they don't do anything for their constituents. So their infrastructure crumbles around them. And you can't do anything about it because that would be government. They might have to raise taxes on the rich, and they can't do that when they're on their knees in front of the rich, doing whatever the rich want them to do. And then, they throw the red meat, the racism, the hate, and that'll keep the dumbasses occupied for a while the infrastructure crumbles around them. And then what happens is the Democrats get power, and they see these assholes sitting in their own rubble, and it's the Democrats that do things, that pass legislation to help these poorly run red states. And what do the Republicans do to thank them? Nothing. They call them Democrat Party. They can't even say the name of their political party that just threw them a lifeline, that threw money into their communities so they could be safe when they're riding on their roads, and their communities could join the 21st century, that they could have jobs that can't be shipped overseas. Which is another thing Trader Trump lied about. He said, I renegotiated NAFTA. Everybody says it's the greatest thing that ever happened. It was the greatest trade deal. Do people really believe his bullshit? Do they? It makes me wonder how stupid you have to believe to think that this fucking loser, this serial bankrupt con man loser, convicted felon, rapist, is so successful at everything. He just is like the fucking Midas touch, but in the opposite, because everything he touches turns to shit. This Trader Trump's renegotiation of NAFTA, here's the facts. It resulted in job losses, not job gains. Of course he did, because he left office with a worse record than Herbert Hoover. It resulted in significant job losses. The Tax Foundation found that Trader Trump's tariffs, decreased U.S. unemployment by 166,000 jobs. Not 1,000. 166,000 jobs. The U.S.-China Business Council estimated, and then it gets worse, up to nearly 250,000 jobs lost because of his poorly negotiated bullshit trade renegotiation of NAFTA, some bullshit that he made worse. Also, Moody's projections said that Trump's trade policies, if enacted, could lose. This is going forward, if he gets his way, could lose over nearly 1 million jobs if implemented. And of course, manufacturing, contrary to the claims of that Trader Trump said about manufacturing, he didn't do shit for manufacturing, and it actually hurt manufacturing in the United States. In fact, Trader Trump's fake, phony NAFTA renegotiation, a study by the Federal Reserve Board found that Trader Trump's bullshit deal led to a 1.4 decline in manufacturing employment in the United States, equating to 175,000 lost jobs. That's what happens when you vote for a con man, because he hates the same people you do. The increased cost for importing materials forced many U.S. job manufacturers to raise prices. So thereby, you get fucked coming and going with a Trader Trump deal. And it also resulted in an economic slowdown. The studies show that Trader Trump's tariffs and renegotiation of NAFTA, where is it? Slowed economic growth. While growth increased initially, it decelerated to 2.3% in the first full year under Trump's new trade deal. Economists warned that implementing Trader Trump's proposed higher tariffs in the future could trigger a recession. Tariffs lead to the higher prices for consumers, and in fact, that's what happened. Many businesses reported having to raise prices, freeze wages, or lay off workers due to the result of Trader Trump's stupid fake NAFTA deal. Isn't that incredible? All right. Let's get back to this lady, Kari Lake.
Policies everybody wants. And
you
so
don't think the tone in American politics got out of hand?
I think the tone is really disturbing when the media is calling a man like Donald Trump Hitler. They're comparing him to Hitler.
Like J.D. Vance, do you mean?
Like the media is doing. But J.D. Vance was probably, like many Americans, they listen to the media. And for 8 years, the media has been tearing President Trump apart. A good man who everybody loved before he ran. Imagine having a smear campaign going on about you for 8 years.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, everyone wouldn't like you. And so I applaud the fact that people like J.D. Vance and others, we've seen them, Amber Rose, she did a speech. People are coming over going, whoa, the media was lying and I believed it.
Lying.
And it's so irresponsible.
And you falsely claimed that Trump won in 2020.
There's a 900-page document about Trader Trump wanted to be, how to make him our first monarch. All right, let me, not to interrupt, Emily.
Claimed that Trump won in 2020. You called for the imprisonment of those who accepted Trump's defeat, including your own opponent in Arizona, Katie Hobbs. Why did you do that?
Called for the imprisonment of what?
Of opponents like Katie Hobbs who accepted Trump's defeat. Why did you falsely claim that Trump won in 2020?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and go through all of the evidence of what happened. Do you believe Joe Biden won 81 million votes? Do you think he's more popular? A guy who can't string two sentences together. You believe he's more popular than Barack Obama?
Yeah, bitch.
I'm asking you, do you believe that he...
That's how much we hate Trader Trump. People were motivated to vote to make sure that fucking con man takes a hike. And you think that the same people that wanted that con man to take a hike back then they want him back now? He never won the majority of votes. We're sick of him. We had him up to here last election when we sent him packing. He's overstayed his welcome, like the stale dumps in his diapers. He stinks. He's stinking up the joint. We're sick of listening to him. We're sick of having to smell him, see his filthy frog face. The whole world is sick of him. You know what a great getting up morning is going to be? One day, we know. You know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a good... that will happen. It happens to everybody. But, Jesus Christ. The whole world is going to celebrate that great getting up morning. You know it. I don't care. This registered Republican took a shot at him. I'm not asking for him to be assassinated. That's ridiculous. I want him in jail where he belongs. If he goes and fucks off because some registered Republican shot him because of, Trump is stoking violence. Hey, you reap what you sow. That's what it says in your Bible he holds up. Know them by their fruits. But I would think that's getting off too easy. I want him in prison where he belongs. That's the only reason he's running. You understand that? He ran. That's why he announced his tacky, filthy run for the presidency, to pretend he's president again. Because it's all an act. He's just pretending. He wants all the trappings, He wants the ass licking that happens. But he ran because he knew he was going to be indicted for all his crimes. God help us. Will he ever face the consequences of his fucking crimes? This filthy, disgusting traitor. And he shoved all these scumbags onto the court all over the country. Like Eileen Cannon, this unfit flunky, this embarrassing lickspittle, who, when judges are applying for jobs, lifetime positions on the federal bench, they have to submit writing. Well, usually you would think it's legal writing that goes into legal journals and whatnot. She submitted writings about salsa dancing. That's because she wrote for some Latin American blog about how to be a great salsa dancer and flamenco dancing and whatnot. I don't know. I guess she's into dancing. Flamenco. These people are disgusting. This is what they do to this country. They put unfit, unqualified people in positions of power, just like the Nazis. The only qualification is, are you a lickspittle? Just like the Nazis. And that's why they denigrate expertise. And because they got none. Like even J.D. Vance. Who the fuck is he to be running for vice president? So if Traitor Trump, if we get that, if he, God forbid, becomes the so-called president despite receiving fewer votes again, and then J.D. fucking Vance becomes the president, he's not even how long has he been in government? He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. This is what Republicans have done to this country. That people with no qualification, not only do they have no qualifications, they have no dignity. They have no honor. And they have no integrity. They have no no humanity, for Christ's sakes. And they are devoid of any and every characteristic that would make one an effective legislator or even an effective advocate for the people you pretend to represent. It's a stinking con. That's what this con man has done, because that's all he's ever done. Play the successful businessman, play the fucking successful president. Please. When math and reality in our own eyes tell us different. We saw the disgrace, the disaster. And these, Kari Lake, what a joke. What a disgusting timeline that we live in with these people.
Is the most popular president in the history.
No,
you have
he's
to
not.
you got to have brain cells.
Okay, so you don't believe that Joe Biden won the election in 2020?
I believe the election was run fraudulently.
Bullshit.
And you refused to concede in 2022 as well, your own contest. You
Well,
filed
obviously
unsuccessful
you're sitting
lawsuits.
across the pond and you don't understand what's happened. And I'm not going to argue
You
about
were
it with somebody.
sued for defamation.
She knows more than...
Yeah, because this is how corrupt the
Kari
system is.
Lake
I
knows.
pointed out how they worked our elections.
You lied about a top Arizona election official. You defamed him. You falsely accused him of injecting 30,000 illegal votes into machines, intentionally misprinting ballots.
Yep.
Do you
It
stand
happened.
by
Yep.
those
Yes,
claims?
it happened.
Would you like to repeat them on air now?
It happened.
You
No,
think
you know what?
that he intentionally misprinted ballots?
If you
he
would-
sued you for this.
Yes, I know. I'm in the middle of it right now. It's lawfare.
And he
And guess
said
what?
Lawfare.
that you had turned
Honey,
his life.
if it's lawfare, if it were lawfare, you'd be in prison by now. We wouldn't have to go through the motions. If it were lawfare, it would be like the trial against Sophie Stahl in the fascist regime that Republicans are trying to emulate back in the 20th century. If this were lawfare, she wouldn't be walking around free to spew more lies in front of any microphone that'll have her. I mean, if this were lawfare, for God's sakes, these people would not be an issue anymore. They'd be gone. Trump would be up the river with the rest of his traitorous cult. All these crooks and criminals. Kari Lake would be in prison if it were lawfare. If it's such lawfare, why are we going through the motions? For Christ's sakes. It's lawfare. It's lawfare. Oh, I love this Emily woman. She's great.
Upside down. He said you'd made him the
Listen,
target of threats of
Emily,
violence and
Emily,
death.
I'm in the middle of a lawsuit and I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to work. When you're in the middle of a lawsuit, you don't want to talk about it, okay? We talk about it in court. That's where we talk about it. I feel confident that I've spoken the truth.
Bullshit.
But you know what?
You made him the
can't prove
target
it.
of violence and death. You saw what happened on the stage on Saturday night. You heard Donald Trump say, let's lower the temperature. Do you accept the part you played in inflaming the political
I've never,
rhetoric
no.
in this country?
You are just part of the fake news and you're lying. You don't know a damn thing about Arizona. You don't know one thing about our election. And you sit there with a smirk on your face. You're sitting over in England.
Catch a liar by the toe. That's the Republican way, right? You are fake news. Oh, you got you. Well, she's got you. Dead to rights, you filthy fascist lying liar. She's got her. Oh, you're fake news. You're across the pond. You don't know anything. Anytime these assholes have to explain themselves in a court of law that isn't run by Eileen Cannon, the salsa queen, they fall apart. They got no legs to stand on. The lawsuit, the Kari Lake is facing, for those who don't know, she's facing a defamation lawsuit filed by Stephen Richter for defaming him and lying and turning his life into a living hell, because this is what Republicans do. And all he was doing, and he's a Republican, and all he was doing was his job, trying to keep America free from authoritarian dictatorship, and the meaning that those who win the election get to become they get to assume the position their the people voted them into. I'm just looking because here comes Tara Jr. trying to come over here. All right, come here. All right, just come here. Relax. Let's see. The lawsuit, Richer, or Richer, sued Lake in 2023 for defamation over her false accusations of election wrongdoing, which allegedly led to threats against him and his family. Of course it led to. This is what Republicans do. You know, if you stand up to the Führer and his minions, you're putting your life in danger. This is why you see what's going on with corporations. They're all pulling back, not all, but they're toning down their pride displays or rolling back their diversity and inclusion seminars and whatnot that they're having people that they want their employees to attend, because they want to make a nice workplace for everybody, not just straight white Christians, fake Christians. But Republicans can't handle that. They can't handle the melting pot diversity. Forget about it. That's too much freedom. That's too much. Nation of immigrants. Oh my God. We need a dear leader to save us from all the scary others who don't know their place. They don't worship Jesus. They don't worship a fake Jesus, I should say, that the Republicans worship. Jesus, I don't know what sick Jesus they have, but their version only requires one thing, and that's gay bashing. Everything else, you could just not even think about it. You know, visiting people in prison, feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, being kind, being good, turning the other cheek. Like Donald Trump Jr. said, what's that ever got us? We never got nothing from turn the other cheek. Yeah, no one ever gave you $2 billion from the Saudis. Right? You can't take it with you. They're so holy, aren't they? They're so holy. I wish.
The UK, in a country that's being destroyed. In a country that's being destroyed.
I guess I'm just asking.
And I really don't.
What it says
you know,
about the
this is the
Republican
last
Party,
question.
that they need to lie, to intimidate, to threaten, because you don't believe you can win at the ballot box. Why would you need to do that?
You are just a sad case of a human being, and I'm so sorry for you. I'm sorry that you bought into the propaganda. I hope that you'll look in the mirror and see that you've been following propaganda, and you don't understand what's happening.
So I'm guessing if you don't win in November, you won't concede. That's the rule that you're playing by now, is it?
You are. I actually think you need your head examined.
Can you answer that?
I think you need your head examined.
Kari Lake, thank you very much.
That's how you play it. You just keep asking her. She looks like a fucking fool. The fool that she is. You need your head examined. So this is the rule you're playing by now. If you don't win, you don't concede. This is how you're playing it, right? You need your head examined. Oh, okay. Right, exactly. Projection? It's a sick and serious case of projection. Exactly. Pookie's mommy Irene says, I wish we had real journalists here. I do too. When I watched this, I was like, wow, I want to weep. That's what real. You know, we watch these corporate media mouthpieces interviewing people like Kari Lake. The problem is they have to treat her as if she's serious. As if she's a sincere person who sincerely thinks that everything's stolen and Donald Trump is the fucking walking on water. Yes, that's true. BB on the chat says she reminds Kari Skank Lake reminds me of Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction. She does. She's got that dead-eye look and that stupid phony face smile. You need help. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm joking. You need help. You're fake news. Look at that phony fake fucking smile. Look at her. God, these people are so exhausting, aren't they? Yes, the psychotic stare. Like the rest of them. The dead eyes, the psychopath face.
Part you played in inflaming the political rhetoric in this country.
You are just part of the fake news and you're lying. You don't know a damn thing about Arizona. You don't know one thing about our election. And you sit there with a smirk on your face. You're sitting over in England, in the UK, in a country that's being destroyed.
Yeah, England's being destroyed. Everything's being destroyed. Except by the ones who are destroying everything. Just give it to the ones who destroy. And then it won't be destroyed anymore. You know, the ones who tear everything apart. The ones who leave the country with 1 million dead and mass graves behind them. England's being destroyed. You know nothing. She has no answers. Because she's a fucking fraud. She's disgusting. And she knows it. But these people have to be psychopaths. Because how do they live with themselves? Otherwise, you know, there are psychopaths that live amongst us. And funny enough, you know, it's like they're in the Republican Party. They have no empathy. You think people like this, like somebody like Kari Lake, is thinking twice about the idiots who support her? Or the people? She cares about Arizona? If she cared about Arizona, she wouldn't be lying to the faces of the people of Arizona. She wouldn't twist them around, you know, her web of lies. She would leave them the fuck alone and let them live their lives and not twist them up like, oh, you're being stolen. Things are being stolen from you right before your eyes. You got to fight, fight, fight. Fucking, these people are the bane of our existence. I hate to say it. And I wish I was wrong. Because they're not, I mean, I wish we could just do a show about a different political viewpoint. This isn't even politics anymore. It's personal. Because that's all they got. Personal insults, personal assaults, personal attacks. There's no debate here. Oh, it's not a matter of politics. I wish it were. You know, we could sit and have an issue in front of us and discuss it rationally. You can't. How can you? Because they'll just attack. You're fake news. You need your head examined. I feel sorry for you. Everything's destroyed where you live. I'm sure. Except not where she lives, though, right? Not where she poisons people's easily led brains with her lies. You know, this is who they are. They don't care about the people they share this blip of time with. I wish I was wrong. Because, you know, it's one thing to do your best and not succeed and, you know, try to help, do your best, but then it didn't work out or whatever. But it's another thing to simply lie to people and make them upset about lies, all because you can't fathom a world where you're not in power. That world should be destroyed. And they're gonna use all the dumbasses. They're gonna turn their people into idiots, you know, they're useless idiots, some of whom are in jail. And it goes on and on. I don't know how much you gotta hate yourself to align yourself with this party, but I think it's really about hating everybody, hating yourself and hating others. But we will win. We're on the right side of history. Decency, dignity, democracy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wave my finger like that. Humanity, we stick together, we win. All right, my name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Hi, Trucker John. All right, yes. How about, let's do a show, Trucker. I know, I keep saying it. We will. We should, let's just make a date on the air here. Let me see, what's today? Today, I'm looking at my calendar. Do you want to come on? Let's do a show on Wednesday. If you're around, Trucker John. We can, you can call in on Skype. What do you think? What's today? The 19th? How about the 24th, Trucker? All right. All right, it's settled. If you're around. Wednesday. All right, cool. We're gonna have a conversation with Trucker John. Wednesday night. I'll message you on Discord. We'll figure it out. How's that? Sounding good? I know. Twisted Nerves painting. Look at Boudica. She's such a good girl. All right, listen, guys. I got to get unconscious. I've been sitting in this chair for about since 11 o'clock. It's 12 hours. My ass hurts. I want to lay down and get unconscious and pretend I live in a world where, you know, Republicans are normal. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes. It would be nice. All right. I look forward to hearing from you too, John. No, I'll text you on Discord. And we'll set it up. We could do a Skype. We can do a simulcast. We can do a lot of things. We can do it all. We can fly to the moon. We can live in the mountains. I want to hear all about what it's like to infiltrate a Trump NZ rally. Hear all about your show and your adventures on the road. That's what I need to be, a truck driver too. Get my cats and my guinea pig and hit the road. Tara Jr. doesn't like that idea, I see. All right, my friends. I gotta go. Thank you for hanging out. If you can, become a patron, please, at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And I will get the YouTube subscriptions going. There's so much to do. Yeah. I love you all. Thank you for hanging out. All right, Junior. He's knocking the mic. And my name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out, guys. And I will see you all. We will win. We will. Hopefully. If the Democrats don't keep fucking us over. I think everybody's traumatized because of what happened in 2016. We know that it could slip away. Yes, here's the producer. He's here. Yeah? You okay? Say hello. Can you hear him? All right. He's so cranky. All right, my friends. I'll see you. I'll see you later. I love you. See you soon. And I'll talk to you later, Trucker John. See you soon.